You want a stronger mindset? Develop stronger skills. This was told to me and hammered into my brain by an incredible coach that I had, Kathy Anderson, and it's the absolute truth. That's why we're here in part 3 of the 20 skills breakdown for you to build a long-lasting, predictable real estate business. Check this out. Hey guys, I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and on this channel, I give you the tools, the resources, and the tactics that I'm currently using in my 7-figure real estate business so that you don't have to go out there and waste a bunch of time and a bunch of money. We're gonna be breaking down these 20 skills. This is part 3 of this. Today, we're gonna be going handling objections, closing skills, and offer presentation and negotiating contracts. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. Let's talk about handling objections. When I first started out, I was so nervous about this. I thought that I would get tripped up with any question that a property owner threw at me. But after this training right here, you're gonna feel powerful. You're gonna be able to go out there and with no restrictions, with no anxiety, go and generate leads because you know you're gonna be able to handle these objections. So let's look at this. Number 1 is an objection is just an unanswered question in the mind of the property owner. It's just they don't understand something. They're not trying to attack you. They're just trying to understand what is going on in the process. They're nervous. So our ability to answer those questions is absolutely paramount. There's only a certain amount of objections that they're going to be able to throw at you, and I'm going to show you how to overcome absolutely every one of them. Next, we have to determine, is this an objection or is this a condition? An objection is just a question in the mind. A condition is something that's going to prevent them from actually selling. A condition is they owe too much money on their property for it to make sense, for it to be a deal. A condition is they want to sell, but their spouse doesn't want to sell. A condition is you're talking to somebody that thinks that they inherited a property, but they didn't really inherit the property. So make sure that you really understand, are they throwing conditions at you or objections? Just make sure that 1, they have the ability to sell, that there's equity in the deal, and they're motivated and they've made the decision that they're going to sell that property, okay? Deja vu, this is what I'm talking about. It's going to feel like people are saying the same things over and over and over and over to you. The objections are the same. So learn the answers to them and you're gonna feel super confident. Whenever somebody asks you a question, write it down, and you don't know the answer to it, write it down and then come up with 2 answers to that question that make sense. Better yet, put your objections in the comments section down below and I'll answer them for you. I'll give you 2 answers to any objections that you have because watch how many of these objections are exactly the same. 1 a week so you aren't weak. Just work on 1 objection a week. Like, don't try to get it all at the same time. Master 1, practice, role play. All of these objections that are just a question in the mind of the seller, which is really just saying, you know, are you able to close this deal? Just practice. If you just take a week to focus on 1 objection at a time, you're going to really get it down. It's going to stick in here so that it's going to feel like a reflex as opposed to like that spinning rainbow ball thing that comes on with, you know, when things are buffering. I don't know. Hopefully they put a graphic in this video. Next, don't argue. When you argue, you lose. Confirm and approve everything that they are saying. It doesn't matter how wacky it is. Confirm and approve, move on. If you tell them that they're wrong, then you're going to lose them because you add friction. And then all of a sudden you are fortifying that force field that they have around them. Our job is to melt that force field. And we do that by confirming and approving what they're saying to us. Make sure that you're pre-qualifying. Make sure that you understand the condition, the timeline, the motivation, the price. I'm going to talk about this over and over and over again because every conversation that we have with a property owner revolves around those 4 things. You've got this, every single conversation is around that. But the more that you pre-qualify them, the more that you're going to be able to pull out the objections. And when you can pull out all of the questions that the property owner has in their mind, the faster that they're going to be able to make a decision. Next, we're truth tellers and truth seekers. Be absolutely honest with what's going on. If they ask you a question, tell them the truth. On the other side, really seek for them to be comfortable enough to tell you the truth. And people will tell you the truth the longer you're in that relationship. So remember, we're truth tellers and we're truth seekers. Don't go out there and tell them that you've done 100 deals if you've never done a deal. Don't go out there and tell them that you can offer them a certain price when you know that you can't offer them a certain price. Go out there, tell them the truth every single time. Next, Hell Island, Heaven Island. I want you to imagine this, all right? They're on Hell Island. Over here is Heaven Island. This is where their problems are solved. And there's certain bridges that they can cross to go from Hell Island to Heaven Island. Why don't you list with a real estate agent? Why don't you fix up this property and rent it out? All of these things are great ways to understand, do they really want a cash as is offer? Do they want a creative offer? What do they want? Is it best for them to just list it with the real estate agent? Is it best for them to just hold it for a while? Hell Island, Heaven Island. Think about all the different bridges. And when you ask those questions, and they'll start destroying all the other bridges till it comes to the end where it's just you and your cash as is offer that's going to solve all their problems. People every single second are trading price for speed and convenience. These things are important. It's important to be of service to our community. But if their best option, speed and convenience, cash offer, you get that deal. Closing skills. This is what separates the pros from the no's. Here we go. Upfront agreements. All right, this is critical. Number one thing, Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager, is the master at closing because he talks about first thing first, what is your goal with this property? And when you understand what their goal is, then you can start setting upfront agreements. Okay, if I can get you the price that you want in the time that you want, is there anything stopping us from moving forward when I come out to see the house today at 1 o'clock? That's an upfront agreement. And the best part is, if they tell you no, then you can ask why, and then you can understand what are the obstacles in the way of getting that agreement signed before you go on the appointment. The less surprises that there are, the more powerful you're gonna be going out there, the more confident you're gonna be going out there. Next, decision makers. Make sure that everybody that's on title is there to sign the agreement when you go on the appointment to get the agreement signed. Because I can't tell you how many times I went to an appointment early on in my career where I had the wife or the husband or one of the partners there or one of the siblings there or whoever it was that was on title but didn't have everybody else. So they go, oh, well, I can't sign the agreement. So-and-so's not here right now, so you just leave it with me and we'll discuss it privately, and then we'll get back to you. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating because you don't know what's happening. You did all of this work, you did all this lead generation, you did all of this lead follow-up and pre-qualifying, you did your offer presentation, and all the decision makers aren't there. Make sure all the decision makers are there when you do your offer presentation. All right, good. Remove, then move. This is if, then. I want you to practice if, then all the time. All the time. If I can put all of your stuff into storage, then are you ready to move forward and get this closed? If I can help you out to find and locate a place that will take all of these animals, this is something that just happened to us. We had 19 cats inside of a house. And the owner of the property had to move, had to relocate to Texas, couldn't take all the cats, and didn't know what to do. And was kind of like dragging his feet and was like, well, I can't really, until I figure out what to do with the cats, I can't really agree to anything, can't really commit to anything. Well, if we can help you out with that and make sure that they find a really great home, then are you ready to move forward? And he was, and we did, and we made $42,000. Just saying. Next, greedy breath. Stop. Stop going on these appointments and being so like, oh, I need to get this deal. Oh, I just need it. I need, you just walk in and you're just like, sign it. Why don't you just sign this? Just do it. People can feel it. They can feel that energy. They can feel that vibration. They can smell your greedy, nasty breath. Don't go in there desperate for the deal. Go in there with confidence. And you're building confidence because you're building these 20 skills. I got you. Next, future pacing. When you're having conversations, as soon as we sign the agreement, I'm going to be opening up escrow, and the escrow officer that I have, her name is Dina, and she works at Pioneer Title. She's going to take great care of you. Does that sound good? Right? We're already moving down the line. So when you and I put together the agreement, they're going to ask you if you want to get a check for your proceeds or a wire. What do you think you're going to want? future pacing, already putting it out there that they're doing business with us. It's powerful. Use it. Next, posture. Don't slump over. Don't be kind of walking around. Don't just kind of be like, trying to be timid or whatever else. Stand up confident that you know that you're helping out this property owner. Stand tall. You're powerful. You're incredibly powerful. You can do this. Sign and leave. Don't just sit there and they're signing and you're just, oh my gosh. Because the first couple times you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is working. Something's going on in my brain. My belly's kind of getting watery. Things are spasming in my body. This is all working. All my goals. And then you just start jibber jabbering about nonsense after you sign the contract and you screw it all up. Don't do it. Sign and get out of there. I had this coach playing football in high school. And he always told me, don't go crazy when you score a touchdown. Give the ball back to the ref like you've done this before. Be professional about it. You know what I mean? And so that was always stuck into my head that no matter how crazy it was, no matter what was going on in the game, no matter how big of a game it was, you score a touchdown, you give the ball back to the ref, and then you celebrate with your team back when you get on the sideline. It's the same mentality, okay? I don't care if you've never scored a touchdown in your life or that analogy doesn't land, but you get it. Just sign it and get out of there. Just get out of there. You did a great job. All right? Offer presentation and negotiating contracts. Step number 1, know thy agreement. Read through the agreement. Understand what it says. Understand what it outlines in the paperwork that everybody is agreeing to. Because this is essentially the roadmap for the whole transaction. So really understand it and be able to answer questions that pop up so that that's not the thing that stops everybody from moving forward. So any questions that you have about an agreement, and by the way, you can get an agreement at wholesalinginc.com. We spent a lot of money putting it together with our attorney. Now make sure that wherever you are, make sure it works with whatever title company and closing attorney that you work with. But beyond that, you can get it at wholesalinginc.com. Read through it. If you have questions about it, put it in the comments. Now, I love this. Price, earnest money, speed, inspection period. Here's the little knobs that we can play with in our negotiating. Obviously the price, we're pulling that out of the property owner. But let's say, I'll give you a great example. I'll give you a perfect example right now. We just locked up a deal last Friday. Ryan was negotiating with this older real estate investor. And he said, I want $300,000. I want no inspection period, and I want $5,000 non-refundable, right? That basically means if we backed out for any reason that we would lose $5,000. He would get that $5,000. Now the properties, it was a good deal. I think fixed up it would go for about $410. But Ryan goes, okay, if you want us to commit to $5,000 earnest money and you don't want us to have an inspection period, I'm going to have to get it at $285. You're going to have to work with me to get it at $285. And he did. So remember, these are the ones that you work with. If they want one of these things, then you can play around with all of this. So another example, just so that it's clear and that you can actually start implementing this right away, is your inspection period. Right? If you need more time because it's kind of a unique property, but they want a certain price, you can say, okay, it's not the price that I really want it at, but give me a longer inspection period. I'm going to reach out to my network of other investors and see if they want to do that project at this time, but I'm going to need more time to get really loud about it. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, sure. Right? And now you have longer time to go out there to find the right buyer for unique properties. All right, so remember, play around. They want, more earnest money. They want you to close faster. I want you to close in 7 days. Fantastic, no problem. All right, but for a quick close like that, obviously we're not going to be able to get all of our ducks in a row. I'm going to need to get a 10 to 15% price decrease to make this make sense, so that we can go ahead and move forward with this, because it's a lot of risk to move that fast. We're not going to be able to get all of our eyes on there to know exactly what needs to be done with this property. So for that, we're going to have to adjust the price. Guys, I am telling you, please understand these 4 factors. The price, the earnest money, the speed, and the inspection period, because that's where you play around, and it's all there in your purchase agreement. And so these things are really fun to play around with. I get really geeked out about it because it's exciting. You can really play around with these things and put together interesting negotiating tactics to make your offers more appealing to the property owner, which means that you get to work with them, which means that you're providing value to them, which means we earn income. Amount of value we put out into the world equals how much income we earn. You know it, I know it. Let's keep moving. Post-possession. We've been using this a lot. Post-possession is when the property closes and the property owner gets their money, and they can stay in that property for a certain amount of time after the closing, but then they have to get out at a certain time. And this is all put together in the agreement. This is really powerful, guys, because a lot of the objections that you get is, well, I need the money first before I can go and put a deposit on a rental. I need the money first so that I can go buy the camper that I'm going to travel the country in. I need the money first before I can go out and buy something else. So I can't make the decision. I don't know what to do. Well, what if we gave you your money? We gave you a month to be able to figure everything else out. And would that work with you? Then would that work? If then. Again, right? And post-possession is very powerful. We're using this a lot right now because a lot of other people that are going after these properties don't really understand this technique, but we do, and now you do. So go out there and use it. Awesome. But with post-possession, real quick, just as a side note, we always make sure that $10,000 is kept in the title company from their proceeds, from their profits from the property. The proceeds, they hold back $10,000 until they move out. And if they don't move out on the day that they're supposed to, they lose $500 of that $10,000 every day that they don't move out. So they get all their proceeds except for $10,000. Next, does size matter? Listen, we use a 3-page contract. It works really well for us because it's really easy to go through. But Texas, they really prefer, all the title companies that I've talked to, a lot of the Rhino tribe members use the realtor contract in Texas. So it just depends. Some people are really comfortable with a bigger contract. They feel like it's more legit, and that's fine. So you can have that conversation with them. Just make sure that you have both. Make sure you have the realtor contract in your market, and make sure that you have our contract or whatever contract your title company likes using for wholesale deals or creative deals in your market. Make sure that you get a copy of both of them, just so that you can not lose deals because they're like, wait, this is just a 3-page contract. I want more than that. Or they go, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. It's a 14-page contract. I don't want to deal with this, right? Like, sometimes that's overwhelming for them. So you can give them the option. I've got the realtor approved contract that's much longer, has a lot more conditions into it, or I've got a much shorter contract. Which do you prefer, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? And then you move forward and you can do that. But don't get caught up here, because this one really is a sticking point for a lot of people if you don't have both options, okay? And next, attorney review. Here is something that is phenomenal. Title companies and closing attorneys love us. They love us because we bring them deal after deal after deal, and that's the whole way that they stay in business. And so they have in-house counsel, if it's a title and escrow company, that you can set an appointment with and go talk to and say, hey, listen, I've got this purchase agreement. What would you change about it? What would make more sense for your title company to use on this purchase agreement, right? Always have an attorney review it, and you could do it a lot of times for free. I mean, I've had a lot of people do this. You know, just make sure the title company works with investors, and just ask to schedule an appointment with their in-house counsel and go to their office, go meet with them. It's Awesome. We're going to break that down in a further video. But that's it, guys. If you're getting value out of this and you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. It helps out this channel, and we put so much love and attention and real instruction here. Hit the like button. Put some comments down in the section. We'd love to interact with you, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll catch you on video 4 of our 6-part 20 skills breakdown. See you next time. I love you. See ya.